We just got back from GDC down in California. We gotta say a big thank you to Pixelity who sent us there. We actually sat down, got to interview the CEO and their head of global operations. We did that interview actually for our podcast. If you didn't know, we have an all virtual reality podcast called Full Dive Gaming. I'll leave a link up here and some links in the description. In case you don't have enough of me in your life, you can get several more hours a month over there. But enjoy the interview here, and thanks for hanging out with me. Welcome to the Developer Spotlight on the Full Dive Gaming Podcast. On the Developer Spotlight, we sit down with VR industry professionals. I've got Paul, the CEO of Pixelity Games, and Leo, the head of global operations. What a title. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Well, thank you for having us, man.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I gotta say a thank you to you guys, because you are the reason we're here. We're at GDC right now, so this podcast is not gonna sound quite as good as normal, because we're in a whole crowded stadium. We tried to find a quiet corner, but Pixelity actually sent us out here to hang out with them, check out their new games and what they've got coming up. For our listeners who haven't heard of Pixelity, would you give me a little history, like when did you start? What did you start with?
Right, we started on 2017, April. And the name wasn't Pixelity back then.
Okay.
The name of the company was Pixel Films. And yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I have no regrets or whatsoever.
No regrets.
But it took just so many years, like 3 years to realize that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, and we got it together with board members and changed to Pixelity. And our first game, when we were like Pixel Films back then, and our first game was Rise of the Fallen, a game that proves that multiplayer in VR without wire is working. So, well, it took a year to develop and release on various platforms, including Daydream by Google. We had Oculus Go and Samsung Gear VR. We had Pico. People can download the game and play from anywhere, any country, any devices.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's how we started. And even though we didn't make the commercial hit, because back then Oculus Go or Street of devices, they don't really have much of sales force, right? So,
yeah.
But we eventually able to earn our position as a multiplayer VR developer because of the Rise of the Fallen, and we're starting to collaborating together with like SK Telecom, which is leading carrier in Korea, and they needed us to promote their 5G network worldwide, and we were part of it. And so we sold Rise of the Fallen, and we started making Crazyworld VR together with SKT. And that game is based on Nexon IP, Nexon Korea, which is quite popular around the world, and based on Nexon Kart Rider.
Nice. And how long have you been at Pixelity?
2.5 years. Executives and I have known each other for a long time. I was in an online gaming business, and now we are here to make VR games, and we are going global now. So it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you did Rise of the Fallen back in the day. You dropped Crazyworld more recently.
Yeah.
So for listeners out there who want to find a game, what all of your games are out and available right now?
Rise of the Fallen is not available anymore because there's no Street of devices out there right now. And Crazyworld is on Meta Quest, and you can find it on App Lab because we launched together with SKT in Korea first. We had to make the game out on the platform first before we hit the store. So it's on App Lab. Puzzle just launched in China by Pico yesterday. So it's ranking up right now. So
what is Puzzle? I haven't heard of that one yet.
that one is it's hyper casual. One of the easiest thing you can do in VR and quickest. So we have like 3 different lineups. And the first one is Tech Project, like Rise of the Fallen and the Patcher. These are more of multiplayer and competitive esports like genre. So we came out with more technical derivatives so we can use it onto other genre. And this is where we were able to collaborate together with SK Telecom and Nexon to make multiplayer social VR games.
Yeah, and you mentioned in there the Patcher, which is kind of your big game you're demoing here, but it's only a demo that people can get on Steam right now, right?
To explain our titles, Rise of the Fallen was Dread of game, and Crazyworld VR is now released on Pico and Steam. And also the Meta MLab. Puzzle was it has been released yesterday. It's on Pico and Steam and also Meta MLab. Wherever you are, you can enjoy Puzzle, anywhere in the world. And also Key House of Souls is still in development, and it will be released within this year. So please look forward to that. And that game is for someone who wants to be more like relaxing, healing, more narrative. They can enjoy that with the afterlife experience. So please look forward to that too. For the patcher is still on Pico, but then we are planning to release on more platforms, including all the platforms you can name.
We're gonna go on to all those platforms.
Everything?
Yeah, everything.
To conquer the VR world.
For listeners who haven't played the patcher, haven't heard the patcher, what is it like? What is the goal of the game? How do you play it?
It features PvP on deathmatch, but we also offer boss raid, gigantic boss raid, which is Tantalus, the gigantic monster in the stage, and you can actually play with team versus team. So PvPvE is possible. So you have to confront your enemy faction as well as the big giant monster. So it's gonna be really tricky and tactical. You have to choose which side you have to be. Every battle will be really tactical, every moment. So it's going to be really exciting. Also, you can farm in the battlefield. You can farm the monsters to improve your weapons and characters. So basically, it's not just one-time experience. You have to play over and over again to get the ultimate weapons and the character. So it's going to be really, worth playing for a long time. And also, this patcher and the Rise of the Fallen that we mentioned before is under Machina Vendor trilogy. The second part of the trilogy is the patcher, and we are preparing for the third one. It's in the pre-production phase. It's gonna be the final stage of the trilogy. So that's what we can call the technology project, because we put all the development skills and graphical assets and everything. And we have all those cute little titles and hyper casual titles, and also sports, social. So we can cover all the genres on VR platform. And we can even expand more, not even for VR platforms, we can expand to like AR, XR, whatever it is. So we have potentials on every way. That's what we can say for Pixelity games now.
Cool.
That's exciting. It's a big deal. You're here at GDC. You got a booth on the floor. It's like right next to Meta. But I think that one question that's come up from a couple people that I've talked to is it's like, wow, they're here. They have this huge presence. You have this huge staff. Yet a lot of your games are still in development. They're not out yet. So how have you been so successful that you're doing all of this when you still haven't released a lot of games yet?
We've been successful, right? Well, I wouldn't even use that word.
Okay.
Right? We survived. Right? How did we do it? We don't even have any game that made a hit. How we did it, right? Oh, you'll get to understand if you read my prescription,
A lot of stress, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
But we managed to survive because we still stayed under the surface, doing what we are best at, and just try to prove that what we've done really matters in VR world. And it's just people understand right now that what we can do, we can make their product or their IP is beneficial. So somehow we keep on making the collaborative work, and that was enough for us to make us survive. And thanks to investors as well.
Yeah, shout out to the investors.
Speaking of survival, there's a lot to say. So when we started this company, there were a few hundreds of VR developers. Only a few survived. It was lucky for us, but then we focused on many projects actually. So we are focusing on games, but also we are focusing on medical, digital healthcare project, or financial, education, and many more. On this VR platform, we do lots of things, and we do research and development. So we are now professionals in every way, but basically we can say all of us, all of staff are basically eager gamers. If you visit our YouTube channels, and there are lots of videos how much we love games. Basically, like for the patcher, we actually had an idea about the boss monster from bosses in Monster Hunter series, or like other RPG stuff. and we all love games.
Whatever it happens in the virtual space, for us, everything is gaming. So even though it's like digital house, client, not the client, partner, come over and they want to make a digital healthcare based on their research and based on their, like in a curriculum. So we make it game out of their, recipes. So that's what we are good at. So that's how we collaborate with others. So we don't really have any expertise on healing people's minds, but our partner has it. And by using our tech together with, our partner's tech, so we can make one great content in VR.
Our partners are universities, doctors, and professors, and bio companies, and gamers. But then we are good at gamifying all those. So that's what we are doing. We can be a sample how game company can be in that kind of business. So it can be our futures for all game companies. I think it's a good thing to expand in everywhere.
Well, it's really exciting. I've had a good time hanging out with you here and seeing all of this. For people who are looking forward to the future of Pixelity, do you have an idea when the patcher is gonna launch? Are you close on it?
We'll give you updates. I think that's the safest way to say it, right?
Yeah.
We'll give you updates, and so you can. Yeah.
But there is a playable demo right now on Steam if people want to check it out.
Yeah.
So you can go out there. You got to play it on PC. It's not anywhere else yet, but you'll get a taste of what the game is going to bring. Was there anything else Pixelity's working on you wanted to make sure we talked about today?
I think we talked a lot. Longer than we thought.
So the patcher is in the final stage of development. We are trying to release it within this year. So please look forward to the patcher, and it will be the ultimate VR experience for you guys. Stay tuned and subscribe to our social media channels, and you can get the information anytime.
Yeah, let us put more money into our games.
Yes, then they'll get even better.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure there's links in the show notes under the podcast or in the description if you're here on the YouTube watching. And if you did listen to this podcast, we want to see us. We're actually here at GDC. You can see everybody here hanging out together in person, which is really cool for a podcast. But I want to say thank you for coming out and listening. And remember, if you've been thinking about VR for a while, dive on in.